This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, I'm Sabrina Brown. Thank you for joining us. The gaming bill is well on its way to becoming law as the bill was passed in Parliament yesterday. As the debate now moves to the upper chamber, we have reaction from the Christian community here on Grand Bahama. The gaming bill was passed in the House of Assembly less than 2 years following a referendum where Bahamians voted overwhelmingly against the legalization of gambling in the country. President of the Grand Bahama Christian Council, Reverend Peter Pinder, says like other members of the Christian community, he voted no in the referendum in January of 2013. He says despite government's decision to move forward with the gaming bill, his position has not changed.
Obviously, the government feels, as they've expressed, that it's in the best interest of the country. Personally, I voted no, and my stand is still no. And so, irrespective of what the government does, my position has not changed. And so, therefore, I am prepared to continue to state my position.
Leader of Government Business in the House of Assembly, Dr. Bernard Nottage, apologized for not honoring the results of that referendum. The Christian Council leader responded this way.
If you intentionally do something, then why are you apologizing? Because you're saying, I am doing this because I feel that this is necessary, and so people will take that for what it's worth. Some will see the apology as empty, others will accept it.
Nonetheless, the leader of the local Christian community says nothing that is done in this country surprises him, as he does not see the Bahamas as a Christian nation.
We do not have what some people classify as a Christian nation. I don't believe we have a Christian nation. And so therefore I'm not surprised when certain things are done that we may be considered to be immoral or improper or against a stable family society. So what is happening in regards to gambling is happening in other areas of our social life, and from the standpoint of me as a preacher, I will continue to preach against sin, and we have a sinful country.
Another local clergyman is weighing in on the gaming bill. Pastor of Mount Calvary Baptist Church, Reverend Paul Mullings, says he's concerned about the social ramifications that could be realized as a result of the legalization of gambling.
Gambling to me is alcoholism, the scourge that's on the families. That's a real, I live in this community, all right? And one of the scourges is gambling. People drive through here, people can't eat food, they can't afford food, but they want $1 to buy a number. It's systemic. It's pathetic for the little child. So the culture now becomes one of not work, but and these same people as a church, we have to look out for them, And when you take all what the little you already making, $150, you take that gamble and you lose, everybody loses.
Reverend Mullings is also questioning how the country will benefit from the passage of this bill.
So you have 10 companies are given license to operate. Do the math. And you charge them, say, $1 million. That's $10 million you're going to get. All about, come on, after all is said and done, you can tell me, how is $10 million? Well, let's multiply that. $20 million from gross. And the people to manage that, you have to pay people. The giving board, the employee head count goes up to manage this new facet of gambling. That's going to cost you money, benefits, etc.
Now, the nation's leader maintains that the government's decision to regularize web shop gaming has evolved as a result of certain realities which have emerged following the referendum. According to the Prime Minister, the economic, social, law and order, national interest, and international obligation realities which developed made it absolutely necessary and the right thing to do, and that is why the government moved ahead and regularized web shop gaming. The nation's leader says the country is expected to benefit from millions of dollars in additional revenue once the regularization is complete. The government's value-added tax education team meeting with heads of various government agencies on Grand Bahama last week. The team noting that these agencies will have to work in conjunction with the VAT team in order to ensure a smooth transition once VAT is implemented come January 1st, 2015. Megan Shepard has the story.
The VAT education team meeting with the leaders of the various government agencies while on Grand Bahama. Team member Kajana Roll says all government agencies will be required to register for VAT, and this means more filing and budgetary restructuring.
It doesn't matter whether it's a ministry, a department, a statutory body, local government council, or any other entity of government. To the best of my understanding, they will all have to register for VAT. The difference is those that have a taxable activity, those that have to charge VAT, will not only get what we call a TIN, which is the tax identification number, but they will get the VAT certificate that they will have to display. And you may have heard talk about the TIN and the VAT certificate because that is what the private sector, those who can charge VAT, those registrants who can charge VAT will have to display as well. They will have a TIN, a tax identification number that both VAT and customs will use, and perhaps some other agencies. And they will have to display a VAT certificate at every branch.
Roll also advising that government entities will be required to charge VAT in certain situations.
If the public sector offers the same service that the private sector offers, then that government sector will have to charge VAT. For example, the hospital sells medicine. You could collect, it's almost like operates like a pharmacy in some ways. We have local or private pharmacies. So on some instances there, they will have to charge VAT. That's what I mean in competition with, competition is probably not right, but they offer the same service that you can get in the private sector.
The VAT team member says government department heads will have to revisit all contracts that may extend into 2015 as they may have to be revised.
And any contract extending into 2015, inclusive of those that have already begun, will need to be reviewed and adjusted to make provision for VAT payable to the supplier if that supplier is registered.
Now, VAT is an attempt to collect more revenues for the country. Roll explains one way she hopes this will be achieved.
The refunds will be used to settle any arrears with other government entities. Remember, we said this is a new way of government collecting taxes. Well, before the government issues person A a check, we're going to check with business license to see if they owe us any money. We're going to check with national insurance and some other agencies to see, okay, why would I give this person money if they owe me money? If they owe me money, I'm going to apply that to one of the bills that they have for me before I decide whether or not. So that's one of the ways that, we beginning to get a better hand, because, the public is saying, well, government can't collect this tax, so how come they're coming up with a new one? Well, this is something that one of the ways we're trying to combat that.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
It's been years in the making, but in a few short months, the $4 million bridge connecting Freeport to East Grand Bahama will become a reality. Tonight, one of the leading contractors is giving an update on the preparatory work being carried out on the Grand Bahama Highway Bridge. Shashina Roll reports.
The construction for the new bridge of East Grand Bahama is on target and on schedule. Now, officials say this type of project requires a lot of technical and engineering factors. And while there may be some slight challenges, they are pleased to announce that this project is now taking shape. Construction crews are hard at work as they fight to meet their April deadline for the long-awaited Grand Bahama Highway Bridge. As preparatory work continues, crews are busy putting in the subbase route.
To add layers or In the industry, it's called lifts, in 18-inch lifts, and it's spread. We walk it in with our D8 and a grid roller, and then water and compact it to get the proper density.
The road will be elevated 18 feet higher than the existing level. Vice President of Waugh Construction Brian Waugh says this process has not been easy and there are some challenges.
Getting drawings approved, it's a design build contract, but the drawings are taking a bit longer than I think everybody anticipated. We've got the drawings for the road works approved now. And I would like to think that the drawings for the bridge itself are going to be approved. And once that is done, I'm sure the contractor that's doing the actual bridge work will start on the seawall panels.
Waugh says the project was 10 years in the making, and he is proud to be a part of this historic move.
Something that my dad started chasing over 10 years ago. You know, and there were several false starts and so on, but we signed up a firm contract in, I think it was January or February this year. So it's nice that it's finally come to fruition.
10 persons are employed by Waugh Construction on this project, and a Florida-based company is also involved in the construction of this bridge.
One of the requirements by the owner is that it be a FDOT approved bridge and road. So all of the bridge structure is being designed in Florida by an FDOT approved engineer, and all of the structure itself will be poured in Florida and brought here by barge with a crane on it, and it'll be brought into the waterway and placed by the crane.
Now, officials believe that this long-awaited project will bring about some activity for residents in the east, and will most definitely provide a shorter commute for those traveling to the area. Shashina Roll, ZNS Network News.
Motorists are being urged to secure their vehicles at all times. This warning coming from police as they continue to see incidents of break-ins and stealing from vehicles throughout the community. While the number has declined when compared to the same period last year, Superintendent Clarence Reckley says vehicle owners must take a more safety-conscious approach to eliminate this crime of opportunity.
We have a possible park your vehicles in well-littered areas. We also recommend that you don't keep overgrown trees and shrubs around the house, because persons use those things to hide behind electronics, iPods, iPads, cell phones, laptops, jewelry. Some people leave their purse, their wallets, and these items are left exposed. Stealing from a vehicle, we consider crimes of opportunity. So you have valuables exposed in your vehicle, and someone passed by, they take the opportunity, take it out your vehicle.
Superintendent Reckley is again reminding vehicle owners that valuables should be properly secured and not be left in clear view in their vehicles.
At this stage, we're quite satisfied with the level of policing in Grand Bahama District. And, you can't relax on your laurels, but the officers are up to the challenge, and we continue to do the best we can to make Grand Bahama a safer place for us to live, visit, work, and play.
Stay with us. The Northern Edition is coming right back.